Basically, I didn't want to make a tourbillon. You don't need to have a tourbillon to make an attractive watch. You can make the movement itself so attractive that it makes the show itself.
Andreas 呢一位仁兄咧喺業界係一個好出名嘅一個 independent watchmaker 嚟嘅。佢嘅作品咧以開放式機芯設計、蝴蝶橋板、恒定動力裝置同埋精美嘅機芯著稱。
You only produce 10 to 12 pieces per year, right?
Right.
How do you survive? One day you're gone, and who is going to look after your watches?
I want to create a sustainable product. Sustainable in the sense that the watch can be repaired over time.
呢一集我哋唔講工藝，而係同 Andreas 嚟傾下偈，傾下獨立製錶人都遇到嘅幾個重要問題，例如點樣堅守匠人嘅雕琢，又可以揾到食呢？科技同手工藝又點樣取捨同平衡？從石英危機到 AI 時代，製錶點樣先至可以做到長遠傳承呢？現場埋位要拍攝同佢做 interview 嘅時候咧，就見到佢太太喺現場同佢梳理佢嘅頭髮，等佢做 interview 嘅時候更加盡俏，即係好堅疊情深咯，
好 sweet 啊，真係。
獨立製錶人往往帶嚟天馬行空設計 ，Andreas Strehler 都唔例外。兩大招牌設計傳遞同表達咗佢對鐘錶呢個微觀空間有着點樣嘅獨特理解同哲思。
You don't need to have a tourbillon to make an attractive watch. You can make the movement itself so attractive that it makes the show itself.
佢都自稱話自己似一個 artist 咧，藝術家咧，多過似一個 watchmaker。其實你睇佢作品度望到嘅。咁其實其中一個作品嘅最出名就係喺個機芯嗰個佈局度咧，特別橋板咧，佢 bridge 度咧，佢用咗一個蝴蝶形嘅一個 papillon 嘅設計咁樣嘅。咁變咗其實成件事就係好有美感嘅。嗱，打磨啊各方面咧，其實個 finishing 啊 decoration 咧，你係不容置疑㗎，係做得非常之好嘅。再加埋佢嗰個佈局，機芯佈局咧，嗱，通常我哋一般睇機芯嗰啲零件嘅佈局咧，其實就好傳統嘅。最豐富嘅就可能就好多個 layers 啊，睇落去哇，成嗰個好 3 dimension 啊，點啊咁樣。但好少品牌咧會喺部件上邊咧都用一啲美學嘅功夫打落去嘅，好似Andreas 嘅作品就係有個蝴蝶形嘅一個 bridge 咁樣，用18K 金去打造 ，rose gold 打造。
Why papillon, not dragonfly or other beautiful insects? And you use it not only for the watches and also
your logo, because the movement wanted to become a butterfly. I don't know. It was when I created the concept of the papillon of the first movement. It was around 2001 or 2. I had in mind I could design a movement which is more attractive than just an additional function. So at that time, many companies started to make cutouts to the movements, to put the tourbillon on as an add-on on complicated pieces. And I thought, you don't need to have a tourbillon to make an attractive watch. You can make the movement itself so attractive that it makes the show itself. So I designed it, and I had the idea to use only 2 gear wheels instead of 3 for the gear train. So bigger wheels, double mainspring, direct drive, and like the wheels are quite big, I needed a certain size in one direction and I could reduce in the other, but this was the limitation. And the bridge, which holds all together due of the symmetry of the movement or particular symmetry. At the evening I was drawing it on the computer and it became a butterfly. So I tried to do something else. I tried to do strange designs, but each time when it was nice again, it became a butterfly again.
Every time?
Yeah, and so I decided, okay, what the heck, I do it with a butterfly.
So what is the main message that you want to deliver through the papillon? Because as you said, you didn't have any complication on it. But what is the main message you want to deliver?
A nice movement. a movement which is absolutely different in design, different technically, and to make kind of a show off of a mechanical movement which hasn't been shown this way before. This was the initial idea of the papillon. The name came later because it was a butterfly, and sure, butterfly would be a word for it, so papillon is French for butterfly, but normally I speak German, but you can't call it Schmetterling. That's
doesn't
not,
sound nice.
no, it doesn't sound nice. Basically, I didn't want to make a tourbillon. For me, just a simple tourbillon didn't make any sense. I thought if I would do a tourbillon, then it needs to be a constant force tourbillon.
嗱呢隻咧就係雖然 tourbillon 啫，唔好以為 tourbillon 咁簡單啊，因為睇翻後邊咧係一個裝置好特別嘅，叫 remontoire。等於就係佢係 provide 一個 constant 嘅 force 咧，係俾佢個 escapement 同埋 balance wheel 嘅，咁令到個錶咧走時係更加準確嘅。咁我就好欣賞呢個設計。
大家都知道啦，咁其實喺個手錶呢個世界裏邊嚟講咧，就係成日都揾方法點樣去穩定呢隻手錶嗰個嘅擒縱系統。如果呢個擒縱系統或者個 regulator 能夠穩定咧，好穩定咧，隻錶咧就自然就好準確噶啦。咁而佢咧同 papillon 咧都不約而同咧，都設計咗一個設計叫做 remontoire， 就係一個行動嘅裝置嚟嘅。好似一個第四個輪咁樣，就係啱啱喺 escapement wheel 前邊一個輪，係啦，佢就 make sure 咧輸送俾成個擒縱系統嘅個 energy 咧係 constant 不變嘅，無論係上滿咗鏈或者鏈尾嗰部分咧，佢都能夠保持到能量嘅輸送咧係 constant 不變嘅。咁你咪變咗個錶咪好穩定，咪唔會走時不準確咯。呢個remontoire 其實就屬於一個係幾難做、幾刁鑽一個裝置嚟嘅，咁所以見到其實唔多品牌去做嘅。
But your goal, as far as I know, you want to be an inventor,
Right.
rather than watchmaker.
Yes, I always wanted, as a child, it was more, I wanted to be an inventor, I wanted to build time machines, I wanted to create crazy stuff, a bit like Girolus. It was a bit like this, always tinkering around. And
Why watchmaking? Why not others?
because I was born into this world, like my father is collecting watches, I was in touch quite early. I've been with my father on flea markets, on antique markets, all the time. My father always was surprised that the sellers of the antique watches had directly confidence to me. They showed me the expensive pieces I could see at them, and what you wouldn't think at first to give it to a child to look at.
Do you try to dismantle your father's pocket watch before?
On one side, yes. This trained my imagination, so I had to imagine how the mechanism must be inside for this indication of function. So I trained my imagination, my technical imagination.
即係你問我要買國際錶品牌嘅手錶，咁我最大嘅考量就係個 budget 啦，因為佢嗰個單價咧一定係比普通主流錶咧係貴好多嘅，因為量少，咁啊變咗呢個冇辦法係成本問題嚟嘅。咁如果你有咁嘅 budget 咁嘅實力咧，你要玩國際錶品牌嘅手錶咧，你一定有一個長遠嘅眼光。
In your brand, Andreas Strehler, you only produce 10 to 12 pieces per year, right?
Right.
So my question is it's a financial question. How do you survive?
I have no investors, so I started as a one-man show, and every cent I gained, I reinvested in machines, later in employees. It's always an investment in the future. But how to survive is that part of the story is the solution, because it's not only my own watches I'm doing. I'm also doing different jobs. My company has 3 pillars, basically. Pillar 1 my own watch brands. I have 2 watch brands. Pillar 2 is development and engineering for other watch brands to create their products. And the 3rd pillar is making watch parts for others, but which are not designed by me, but they design something and they need a supplier. We call them kits. A set of parts ready to assemble or ready to finish. Most of them do their own finishing. They are able to sell them as their product because they have a lot of added value what they do themselves, and it doesn't occupy my watchmaker's capacity.
So you only produce 10 to 12 pieces for your brand?
For the Andreas Strehler
Yeah,
brand.
Andreas Strehler. But you had time to make more for your second brand, Strehler.
Yes.
Why do you have the second tier brand?
My idea was, instead of producing simple movement for others, I could also use simple movements for a second brand. A bit like this, simpler in the sense of serial production. The Andreas Strehler is really a high-level, highly complicated watch, even if they are not so complicated, but it's important in finishing and so on. They are all custom pieces. The Strehler watch is a serial product, so it profits more on the machining department than on the watchmaking department. So we need less in finishing, less in flexibility in production, because each one is identical to the next.
唔靠投資，而係透過硬崩崩嘅製錶經驗同背景 ，Andreas 又係點樣累積練得呢一身武功呢 ？Watchmaking School 畢業之後咧 ，Andreas 去咗好出名一間manufacturer Horno and Puppy 呢間公司度做。呢間公司其實就係孕育咗好多當代而家好多出名嘅 watchmakers， 例如 Global Force 嘅 founder 咧 Robert 同 Stephen 咧都曾經學成呢間公司做過。仲有就係 Christopher Curry 啦，記唔記得我哋嗰陣時做嗰個品牌叫 Speed Marine 啊 ？Speed Marine 嘅 founder Peter 咧都喺嗰度工作過嘅。咁究竟呢間公司有咩咁巴閉咧？呢間公司嘅 Horno 同個 Puppy 咧，其實之前咧就喺 AP 嗰度咧係一個 watchmakers 嚟嘅。後來自己出咗嚟開間公司，就專咧研發啲機芯啊，或者做啲 components 俾供應俾其他唔同一啲嘅 brands 品牌咁樣嘅。咁後來幾年後咧，佢就俾 AP 入咗股啦，做咗大股東啦，就成為咗 AP 咧下邊一個嘅即係幫佢研發機芯一個部門咁樣嘅。咁所以咧呢間公司咧，可以話喺瑞士業界嚟講咧係非常之出名嘅。因為我成日覺得間公司好似以前咧舊個年代嘅 TVB 咁樣出咗好多啲大明星出嚟嘅，係啦，曾幾何時咁樣咁佢就好似引入咗好多咧大嘅一啲出名嘅一啲嘅watchmakers 咁樣。
It was always my goal to have my own workshop. So the really first idea was to have an antique watch, vintage watch restoration workshop. But then when I worked at René Papi, I found it much more appealing to make watches. And so I changed my vision to make my own watches. It was also because of the book of George Daniels, the watchmaking. As a young watchmaker, it was a bit risky to directly start with it. So I started first anyway with restoration antique watches and did my own piece beside on the spare time.
Parmigiani 啦、papillon 啦、Andreas 咧，呢啲全部都係有做過、從事過咧古董錶嘅復修，想做啲作品出嚟咧有創意嘅，係好獨一無二嘅。我覺得如果有 vintage 嘅鐘錶呢一陣嘅經驗咧，我覺得好大程度上會幫到手。
After 98, 99, you have to see it wasn't a direct success launching a piece. So, but the success came indirect in the sense that the industry was interested on what I did, not the public.
Not the public, the industry interested in your work.
Yeah, the watch industry. So independent watch brands asked me if I could make a movement design or something, movement engineering for them. And so I did one of the early works was the chronoscope for chronospheres, a monopusher chronograph based on their own movement.
Hand Moser also, right?
Moser, Maurice Lacroix, and many more later than Harry Winston.
如果大家有見過或者擁有過玩過 Hand Moser 一隻嘅 perpetual calendar， 即係標盤咧，就覺得佢平平無奇。大家睇住機芯咧，哇！原來係一個萬年歷嚟嘅咁樣。呢個機芯咧 HMC 341嘅萬年機芯咧，就係出自咧 Andreas 嘅手筆嚟嘅。You also mentioned that you want to create your watch from scratch without CNC. There's also triggered me. Oh, this is also, you know, I think we worked with Global Force before in Hondo Puppy. I think all of them work together, influence with one another. That's why, as an independent watchmakers, you also have that kind of a thinking. You want to build a watch from scratch without the CNC to follow traditional watchmaking skill. I don't know.
For me, it wasn't really the goal to go without CNC, but I had none. So at the beginning, the first pieces, the Tischkalender, the zwei pocket watches, they have been built all traditional machines. But this didn't really generate interest in the public if I do it manually or CNC. And if I would do them manually, I would do only even less watches than today. And I wouldn't have such a wide collection. Today I work a lot with CNC. I'm interested in modern technologies because I think if you take a famous watchmaker of its time, as example Abraham Louis Breguet or Berthoud or whoever 200 years ago, they never refused the highest technology. They used the highest what it's possible. They used engine turning, they used techniques which has been just appeared at that time. So it would be wrong to refuse techniques, but some techniques I still refuse because they are not sustainable. I want to create a sustainable product, not sustainable in the sense of ecologic whatever. It's more sustainable in the sense that the watch can be repaired over time. It can be repaired by itself, so you can disassemble it, cleaning, reassemble it, and it works. Like you take an old pocket watch from Breguet, you can still, if it wasn't destroyed by a watchmaker, you can still disassemble it, clean it, reassemble it, and it works. So it was and is still my goal to make the watches in this level. But you can't go without CNC. Just making one by one, the problem is that then
Very time consuming.
Not only this, then it means that each piece is adjusted on the next. So you make a little error, the next has to be adapted to this error and so on. So you have no interchangeable. If you break one of the pieces and you need to replace it, you have to repeat all the same errors again. So it's not sustainable.
Yeah, not sustainable.
And so I prefer to CNC machine them, but all the finishing is made by hand.
好多鐘錶愛好者收藏獨立製錶，除咗俾錶吸引之外，更加重要嘅係對人嘅認可。
In all independent watchmaking, it's not only about the product, it's also about the person behind it. But the first must be the product, because even 100 years later, you only have the product. And it has to be a reliable product.
You're talking about 100 years later. Okay, my next question is, okay, you're a great watchmaker. One day, you're gone. And who is going to look after your watches?
There are several approaches. One is how to design a movement. My watches, I come back on the sustainability of a watch design. The watch has to be designed with following mechanical principles, logical principles, and not too fancy solutions. So this means that a watchmaker with a good skill, a careful watchmaker, can disassemble it, clean it, reassemble it. This is one element which is important. Like I could repair a watch from Abraham Louis Breguet 200 years ago, there will be a good watchmaker in 100 years in the future. The other point is, when I wanted to become a watchmaker, it was just the quartz crisis. It was by the end of the quartz crisis, but it still was.
Still.
I wanted to become a watchmaker, and everybody said, no, watchmaking has no future, forget it. And I said, there are always need of watchmakers to repair the product which has been made. Especially when we see in the evolution of today, especially when we see on the evolution on other jobs, on-screen jobs especially, they will change next quite a lot. Especially with the AI, we will reduce these jobs. But what remains is the manual job. This can't be replaced by an AI system. A robot can't just take apart a watch which he has never seen before. A watchmaker can. And this comes to the next point. I do something which is really rare in the watch industry, especially on the independent watchmakers. I train apprentices. That's sure, they are just for one next generation, but we have to continue to transmit our knowledge to the next generation and not only send them to school and go to learn. You have to see the apprentice is not just a low-paid helping hand. It is basically somebody who is paid to be trained. And but it costs me much more than what he gets as a salary to train them over 4 years. And that's really important. And beside of this, there's also another thing that we give simple classes to students from school to have an inside view what's watchmaking. So we have about 20 per year which come for 2 days to see what's watchmaking. So we do a simple basic informational training. So they repair a watch, they just disassemble it, clean it, do some polishing work, filing, lace work within 2 days, just to show what could be your job. Most of them select something else, but they have to see what's watchmaking.
喺今日巨變嘅時代咧，同呢位鐘錶人嘅對話咧，我感覺到好踏實同埋充滿希望，希望能夠共振出咧呢種咁積極嘅頻率。